audio test. I am currently speaking with words. That's come through.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another installment of the Film Me In podcast, where this week, it's just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. You and I.
Ooh.
It's me, Xander Langwiston, your host, as always, of the Film Me In podcast, and with me today to film you in, it's our lovely poster boy. It's Mr. Joe Cook. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing very well. The way you say poster boy makes me sound like sort of the World War II posters where, your country needs me or whatever.
Yes, that is what you are for the podcast.
That is me.
This podcast needs you.
I mean, for all of this, I'm just pointing at Xander, so...
Hamish is off this week. He decided not to do this week because he wants to talk about some better movies next week.
Yeah.
So this week it's this is going to be a new turn for the Filming podcast. So we're doing another tournament. A tournament.
Ooh, a tournament.
And it is all about. Once again, it is all about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know, boring, but. We haven't talked about it for a while properly in its entirety, and you haven't heard Joe and Hamish's thoughts on some of the older movies. So, and my opinions have changed as well. So we're going to do another tournament of all 41 Marvel Cinematic Universe projects, starting from Iron Man, going all the way through to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Damn.
But first, before we get into it, how about you tell me moan, Joe?
Oh, so...
You got a little moan for me?
I do. So the Babylon soundtrack, basically... no, this is not going to become a weekly thing, I promise. No, so actually, the Paddington universe is something I deeply care about. But where is Paddington 3? Now, I read recently...
Non-existent.
Ben Whishaw hasn't even seen a script yet.
It upsets me.
What is going on with this film? Now, apparently it has a title called Paddington in Peru.
Okay.
But that's it. My moan is that we don't have Paddington 3. Because Paddington 2 was so good. One of the best films ever.
Paddington 2 was so good. But it's not going to be made by the same guy.
No, it's not. Oh.
I think it's been too late and it's been too hyped up. I think if this movie does come, it's not going to be as good.
Yeah. And it won't have Hugh Grant in it. So...
It won't have Hugh Grant. And that he is so good in that movie.
He said it's one of his favourites to do.
What a turn for him. What a turn for him. Like, in recent years, he's just started doing, like, random ass shit. Like, I love Hugh Grant right now. Because he used to just do all the rom-coms and, like, the soppy romance films from the 90s and early noughties. And now... He's out there having so much fun. Like, between Paddington 2 and The Gentleman. Have you seen The Gentleman?
I have seen The Gentleman. He's very good in it.
He's so good in that. And he's just playing this weird, creepy photographer. So I like now that Hugh Grant has made his money, he's just kind of doing what he wants. So please do more of it. I like this.
Absolutely, yeah. He's in his golden era.
He's in his golden era. There you go.
The golden oldies.
Wait, a Grant-a-Sance. Win a Grant-a-Sance.
Yes.
I've got a moan for you. Perhaps it's not quite a moan. Moan might be the wrong word for it.
Okay.
But I'm a YouTube watcher, an avid YouTube watcher, especially in the film circuits. And when we talked about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania last week, go check it out.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
We said Ant-Man and the Wasp. You said Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Quaver.
Ooh, I like Quavers. They're good.
I like Quavers. When we were talking about that, afterwards, I saw some recommended videos on YouTube about people talking about it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll see what other people are thinking as well. See if I'm... Because you and Hamish were a little nicer to it than I was. So I was like, maybe I'm being mean. And thankfully, I'm not. You guys are just being too nice. So I was scrolling through it, and I came across this guy called the Critical Drinker.
Critical Drinker.
Have you heard about this guy on YouTube?
I can't say that I have.
So I came across one of his videos and it said like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is like trash. Like, this is where I should start.
Oh my god.
So I watched this video and he was roasting the movie completely. And he's this Scottish guy who just, rants on. I'm like, okay, I get behind this. Yeah, cool. And he was quite funny as well. And some of his other videos got recommended, and one of them was about Phase 4 in general of Marvel. And he said why it is like so inconsistent and so bad. I'm like, okay, sure, I'm on board for this. And he's like going through points. Said 1, there is no clear end goal. So you're saying like from Phase 1 to 3, there's the Infinity Stones at the end. Right, cool. Part 2 was about how they're not bringing in writers who really care about these characters. And he was talking about the people that are bringing in and like the directors they're bringing in having very little experience with big budgets and stuff like that. It's like, right, that's a really good point. And point number 3, his final and most aggravated point, was Marvel hates white men. I'm like,
you had to.
Oh, you were that close. You were so close to having me as a fan. I nearly pressed subscribe, bro. What have you done? And he went on this rant for about 7 minutes about how every single joke in the MCU now is aimed at white men.
What?
And how white men are the worst, according to Marvel and Disney. And how every woman is super smart and super strong. And every person of colour is super smart and super strong and laughs at the white man. Because, God, imagine being a white man in 2023. I was just like,
He was doing so well.
He was doing so well. So my moan is at the critical drinker. Dude, like, get out your basement. What's going on? Like, enter the real world. Yeah, that was my moan. What was your moan, Hamish?
Oh, really?
Wow, that was
It's a shame. It's a shame that none of you could hear that, but that was
short but sweet.
Yeah,
short but sweet.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Groundbreaking.
Should we move on to the main topic?
We shall indeed.
I'm very excited about this. I always get so excited about tournament
Little
weeks
nerd.
because I put so much energy and time into making these like perfect. I've done so much maths. Joe can see the workings out I've done, and it's a lot, isn't it?
It's a logistical nightmare. That's what it is.
My brain gears were working overtime. It was crazy.
Your smarts, yeah.
My smarts, yes. I no longer think good. So what we've done is I did all the work.
I did nothing, guys. He insists upon himself.
I insist upon myself. I put every single Marvel Cinematic Universe project into a spreadsheet and copied in the to rank them in the correct order from what we're saying is correct overall. We've gone with a few different criteria. So we've got the Rotten Tomatoes critic score, the Rotten Tomatoes audience score, and then, most importantly, the Rotten Tomatoes average rating, which is the average rating that each critic gives it. Instead of a rotten or fresh or rotten, it is like out of 10. So we've got that as well. We've then got the IMDb score and the Metacritic score. And then the biggest one that changed everything was the box office worldwide. So each movie is ranked based on all of those numbers put into a blender. And we've got 1 through 41. Obviously, it's a big ask. It's a big task to do all of this in one episode. So we're actually going to split this into a few separate episodes and spread it across a few weeks because, why not? And we're going to put some other things in between as well. So we'll come back to this podcast in a few weeks' time and carry it on. But this week, what me and Joe are going to do is we're going to suffer through the dregs of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
You say the dregs, but some of these I quite like.
Some of these are quite good, yeah. I think there's only like a handful of truly bad things on this, which is quite impressive.
I've got my eye on one right now.
Universe has been going for... So, we're going to go through the playoff games. So, everything above the rank of, I believe it's 23. So, 22 and upwards is already in the round of 32. We've got to choose the other movies that are going to meet them in there. Are you ready?
I am. Let's do this.
So we're going to take some time on each matchup because some of them, you might think are easy, but we're going to take some time and really talk about the movies, give the movie the dues that they deserve, and then we'll move on to the next one. So, the first matchup of the MCU Tournament 2023 is the number 32 seed, Black Widow, versus the number 33 seed, Thor, Love and Thunder.
Ho, 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 ho.
Now then, I say we start with the higher seed, 32. That is Black Widow.
Yep.
It was the first movie in Phase 4.
It was the first one after COVID. Well, it was amidst COVID, but the first one in ages during COVID.
Yeah. So Marvel took the break in 2020, as did the rest of the world, and put Black Widow out onto Disney Plus behind a paywall and in cinemas. It made very little money. You'll see quite a few of the movies in the playing games are just the ones that made the least amount of money. But that's just how it's worked out. Some higher up ones, you might be like, how is that so high up? It's because it made a buttload of money. But last time we did it without the money, so we figured we'd add the money this time. Black Widow, though, I've constantly revered it as, like, this should have been made 5 years ago. If this came out in 2016, 2017, this would have been a bona fide hit. And I think it would have been far more exciting. But unfortunately, they released it after Endgame, 2 years after Endgame, when Black Widow dies. So it's kind of hard to get reinvested in this character when you've sort of said goodbye to them. And now this movie's just kind of here to introduce us to a new Black Widow.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that I do think this should have come a lot earlier. I mean, it could have come... Oh, it couldn't have come in Phase 1, but like it definitely should have come earlier before she died in Endgame. But I didn't... When I first watched it in cinemas, wasn't too keen on it, because we did an episode on it
We did. We roasted
We did, but I rewatched it for this, and I dig it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I rewatched it this weekend, and I didn't love it, but I thought there were more things to enjoy in it. For one thing, I think the movie looks quite good. Not in terms of CG. I think there are some problematic CG moments.
Yes.
One very obvious one
later on in the
with
film.
an explosion that everyone talks about. But I think in terms of like color grading and lighting, I think the movie looks really good. Which I didn't think I'd have to say, but there are so many of these movies as we get further down the line that just look like garbage, that look monochrome, and it's really infuriating. So it's nice to see a movie and be like, oh, they've got lighting in it. Wow,
the bare minimum.
That's crazy.
You know?
You'd think in a $200 million budget movie that they'd have some good lighting, and in this one they do. So it's the little things in this that really help it out. I think most of the action's quite good.
The first scene with the plane, I love that, and the soundtrack for this film is amazing as well by Lorne Balfe. I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah, I had no issues with the soundtrack.
I think it's great. I think the one big slog of the film, the one bit, is the middle where the family meet up and they just talk for like a solid 20 minutes, and
yeah,
it should have been littered throughout the film, the character stuff, not all in one segment in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is too long.
Yeah,
by about maybe 15 minutes.
I'd say 10.
Give this a nice tight 2-hour runtime, and I think it just feels better. I think there's far too much ambling about at the start of the third act with where she meets up with Ray Winston doing an awful Russian accent. He's really trying his best not to do Cockney, and it's too difficult for him. He can't do it. He just can't do it. Yeah, it's just like it's never going to win any awards. Spoiler alert: Black Widow is not going to win this tournament.
Wait, what? That's my favourite.
I think it's fair to say that it, in my opinion, already without having discussed the other movie, I think it's going to go through based on it's actually like I wouldn't mind sitting watching this again.
I figure it's pretty damn good. And even Taskmaster, I'm not big with the comics, so I wasn't too fussed when it was revealed that it wasn't true to the comics. But even then, I was like, it serves the story because the main villain isn't Taskmaster; it's child trafficker. So which makes sense why he's the focus.
It's kind of hard to say, like, there are better villains out there when this guy like traffics children and women. Like it is kind of hard to argue against that. I do like what it's saying about, like the deeper themes about men in power and stuff like that. I do like that. I think it's handled quite well. I still think the pheromone thing is dumb as hell.
I mean, it could. I think
we had a whole conversation about how he smells so bad, or so good, that you are unable to fight him. He's a stanky boy.
I mean, maybe if they set it up earlier in the film. I mean, it kind of feels similar to in Winter Soldier, where Black Widow has the holographic face.
Yeah.
If it was set up earlier on, I wouldn't really have had a problem. To be honest, I don't have a problem with it, but it is silly.
She uses it again in this, and I'm like, oh, we're still doing this. Yeah, it's I was kind of annoyed by the fact that she's got like some random British guy that just like finds all these things for her.
Yeah,
and we've never seen him or heard of him before, and he's just gone after this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, right, okay.
He serves
bye,
the plot. That's what he's there for.
He serves the plot, yeah. Florence Pugh's a cracking find, though. She's great. David Harbour was surprisingly good on my second watch. I found him a little bit annoying in my first watch because I was like, he's just here to be funny. But in this, I think he's quite charming, and he's clearly a man who made mistakes and is trying to own up to that in this. So I kind of like that, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again in the Thunderbolts when that comes out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think we kind of need to move on though. We need to talk about the dreaded screaming goat in the room.
the child that no one wants to play with.
Thor: Love and Thunder. Thor: Love and Thunder. I rewatched it. I rewatched it for this, and I made a little note on my phone. I figured I'd have a look and see, just have a little see, how many laughs I had. I have seen this movie before. It hasn't been for a while. I forgot most of it. But I figured if something has made me laugh in the past, it can make me laugh again. But it's just like a little, mild chuckle. I was counting any mild chuckle.
Okay.
In this 2-hour comedy film, 7.
Oh, I thought it was going to be much lower because mine's lower than that.
7 mild chuckles.
Mine's like 1 or 2.
Really?
One of them is like, it was in the trailer, but when Star-Lord's talking about looking into the eyes of the people you love, and he just slowly comes into frame like that.
See, there are some moments like that. It's right at the start, and he's telling the story about how he was born in battle or something, and his mum's like running into battle, and he's like in a papoose at the front, and he's like, like someone's running with an axe. I thought that was funny.
Yeah,
but the movie's garbage, man.
The thing with that is
there was a whole stretch of the movie where I just didn't laugh, and the one moment in the middle that I did laugh was in the trailer when he splits naked. The line delivery of "You flick too hard, damn it!" The line delivery is impeccable on that.
Yeah,
but nothing else, man.
The thing that I watched it in cinemas with my family, and when I came out, we were like, "Oh yeah, that was really good." And then I put on Twitter saying that was really good, and then the next day I was like, "That was really shit."
Yeah,
and like my one big,
it's just like,
sorry, no, go on.
I was gonna say it's that immediate walkout. You're like, I just watched a movie. Wow, that was really cool. And it's the more you think about it, it's like that. Marvel is like, at the moment, that it's like candy floss. You have a bit, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. And
then in like 2 months later, there's a new one. Oh, a new one. Oh, it's gone.
I mean, no.
It's kind of like that. And the more you think about them, you're like,
yeah.
I
mean, no pun intended, but I have 4 big issues with this film. The first.
Please.
4 is treated like a joke. He is the comedy, which shouldn't be the case. Number 2, the CGI, a lot of it is crap.
For $250 million.
Yeah.
$250 million was spent on this movie. Christ knows where it went. Because the movie looks like ass. This is one where I'm like, the lighting is awful. The colour grading is also awful.
God, yeah.
Everything washes into each other. How do you mess up this bad with that much money?
I don't know. Number 3, the God Butcher. He's great in the scenes he's in, but he's not in it enough, and he doesn't do it a lot. He doesn't do a lot.
It doesn't do a lot.
And number 4, it is such a missed opportunity that they start with Star-Lord and don't bring him back later on to sort of grieve with Thor because he lost his mother to cancer, and he's lost Jane to cancer.
You know what? That's a really great point. It's clear that the Guardians were just here to bridge the gap.
Yeah, they had the story from Endgame, and they were like, "Oh, we need to sort of get rid of that. So let's have a tiny bit at the beginning and move on."
Yeah, absolutely. And I like seeing them. I always like seeing them because they're a cracking bunch of lads.
They are.
But no, I think when they left, like most of my hype for the film left. Valkyrie does so little, and I think like we mentioned, the film just isn't funny.
No.
Like there are so many painfully long, unfunny running gags. Like the screaming goats.
Oh, get rid of them.
When I watched it, I was like, this is so ridiculous. It's funny.
Yeah.
Second time I watched it, I'm like, okay, these are just annoying.
Yeah.
These do just keep on going and going and going.
It's a film of missed opportunities, and it's a comedic failure. That's the genre it should be in. It's a comedic failure.
A comedic failure. Thor, Love and that sounds like a video essay. Thor, Love and Thunder, a comedic failure.
Yep.
I'm ready to vote.
So am I, and I don't think it's surprising what we're both going to go with.
Not in the slightest. It's Black Widow.
It's For Love and no, it's Black Widow as well.
Black Widow all the way. So Black Widow earns its spot in the round of 32.
As it should.
And spoiler alert, it's not going to last much longer.
No, because I like it. I dig it.
Yeah. We'll run through the what the matchups are going to be next time we come back to the tournament at the end of the podcast. But for now, we move on to the next matchup. It is the number 25 seed, Doctor Strange, versus the number 40 seed, The Incredible Hulk.
Oh, okay. See, this is
Incredible tricky. Versus Strange.
Oh, adjectives.
So we need to stop this.
We do. This is a tricky one because I know that Incredible Hulk gets a bad rap. It's not the worst. There are some good bits in it.
It does have some good moments.
And I really like Doctor Strange. Like
yes.
It's not often we're going to say this, but the visual effects was good in it.
Yeah, it's visually a great movie because I think this is the one movie that had to nail it because you've got asking the audience of so much. Like, yeah, we've tried to keep it as grounded as possible with all these superheroes and aliens and stuff like that. But now it's just like there's wizards, there's magic is real, and time travel is real, and there's different universes and everything. It's like this movie had to work, especially visually. It had to work. Seeing this in IMAX is probably one of the best experiences I've had seeing a Marvel movie because I was just like, like it starts like and it get unreal. It does still have its problems.
Yeah,
so I feel like we've moved on to Doctor Strange now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we have. It has a sort of weak villain. I feel Like, Mads Mikkelsen is great, but he's so wasted in this film.
Yeah, and it's like, he could have been a really good Doctor Doom. Like, why have they done this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
don't know. I just feel the film's kind of. It's good, but it's kind of average.
It is. It's middle of the road. It is typical Marvel origin story.
Absolutely.
And I think Doctor Strange is maybe slightly too snarky in this. Like, tries to be too funny. And I think this is where some of the cracks start to show in these Marvel films. Because they're spectacles, they bring in loads of money, but, like, the villain's not great. The tone is a little mixed, and that's about it. And we just move on to the next one. We wait till Guardians 2 comes out. So I think Marvel have tried since then to improve the villains, and I think they went on a run where the villains were actually the best part of movies, but then they forgot to make the movie good, and then they figured that out again, and it was a whole thing. But I think for Doctor Strange, there is no other word than it. It's just like it's good. Like it's
good. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's great. It's not like fire. It's not unreal, but it's not bad, and it's not okay. It's just good.
As an introduction to the character of Doctor Strange, it is good because it has everything you need for it.
It's like a solid 6 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd say 6. I think.
Yeah, very, very solid. The Incredible Hulk.
In comparison, I'd say that's a 4.
Yeah, it's a little bit worse. The good bits in it, I do think Edward Norton works.
I think he's all right.
He is all right. I think we've lucked out in getting Mark Ruffalo because he's miles better. Mark Ruffalo has this energy about him that's like, I could flip at any minute. Like, he seems so, like, on edge all the time. He looks like he's riddled with anxiety about the Hulk. Whereas Ed Norton's just, like, really cool. He's, like, fist-bumping people. Like, yeah, cheers, bro. Like, fist-bumps Lou Ferrigno and gives him a pizza. It's like, yeah.
Oh,
bro,
yeah,
cheers.
yeah, that's great.
And I think, it's still early on. They had no idea what really they were doing at this point. CGI is kind of messy.
I think for the most part it's okay. I think the Hulk looks good. I mean, it's not as good as how he looked from Avengers Assemble.
Yeah, it's 4 years difference between 2008 Incredible Hulk and 2012 Avengers. And I don't know whether it's like the leap in technology or what, but like the difference is night and day.
Like, because I'm presuming they did motion capture for Avengers. Do you think they did it for this film as well?
Think so, maybe. I think they did. They definitely captured his face, but I'm not sure he was on set doing it all.
Okay, but I think Abomination looks good as well.
Yeah. It's again. I think they both look about as good as each other. I really like Tim Roth, but that's just me. I just like Tim Roth anyway. That's kind of cheating. And I think
some of his lines are a bit cheesy, but I think they fit his character.
Absolutely. They're doing it. He's very tongue in cheek.
Yeah, and then you also have the introduction of, is it the Leader?
Yes, and he's coming back in the next Captain America film, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, which is actually quite exciting.
Oh, what's his name? He's Buster Scruggs.
He's the guy from Holes.
He's Buster Scruggs.
What, from the Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
Yeah, he is Buster Scruggs. It's Tim Blake Nelson.
That's the one.
Tim Blake Nelson. He's so good. He turns up in loads of stuff as like a character actor, and he's just dope. He's just really great. Buster Scruggs is like the first 10 minutes of that movie that is actually Buster Scruggs is chef's kiss, muy bien. The rest of the movie is like, I think he's really good still. But, oh my god, Buster Scruggs might be one of my favourite fictional characters in cinema. He's so good. You know what? I'm using one here. I fucking love Buster Scruggs, okay? He's so cool.
And when he turned up in this film, Buster Scruggs, no. But I liked the setup for the Leader, and sort of other stuff that connects to Marvel, because you have the Super Soldier Serum, Shield. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even though it feels quite disconnected from the rest of the MCU, it still somewhat feels connected.
They have tried to reintegrate it by reintroducing General Ross, the Abomination, the Leader, and by playing a scene from it in What If, but with Mark Ruffalo. They're trying to reintegrate it, which I think is really nice, like trying to reintegrate movies that maybe people didn't love too much, or people think like, oh, you don't really have to watch that now, like entering them into other things. You'd be like, oh, right, well, you need to watch this one to understand this. Oh, right.
Yeah.
I think it's got a couple of good action sequences. The one in Harlem, it always seems to be on whenever I turn on ITV2.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
Cannot count.
It's always that scene, and they always cut out the great moment when the Hulk just kicks Tim Roth. Don't know why they do that, but anyway.
Yeah. I think the sequence, I can't remember what the country is called, but in sort of the factory in Brazil, that's a great introduction for the Hulk.
The music in that opening bit in Brazil is so good, like the tiki-taki stuff. It's so good.
There's like a that's phenomenal.
The music's fire throughout the whole movie. They went far too hard on it, and I'm not sure why. But I think it's 40th out of 41 for a reason.
Yeah, and also just quickly on the note of soundtracks, the Doctor Strange theme is too similar to the Star Trek theme.
Dude, I thought I was going crazy when I heard it. I
know.
genuinely thought I was going crazy because it absolutely is the same as it's friggin' Giacchino again.
I love him. I love Michael Giacchino. But man, that is similar.
It's the same.
That is cheeky,
It's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to vote.
Yeah.
My vote is going to Doctor Strange.
Yeah, as much as I like The Incredible Hulk, it has to go to Doctor Strange as well, because, it's a good film, but it's still better than Mr. Hulk.
So Doctor Strange goes through, and The Incredible Hulk has a sulk.
Oh, that was very good. Very good.
Thank you. So that has gone through to the next round. Now, the next matchup. It's a couple of Phase 4 once again. It's one of the most recent Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. It is the 24 seed Black Panther Wakanda Forever versus the number 41 seed, the bottom seed, Eternals.
I will be honest here.
Okay.
I've only seen Eternals once, and that was in cinemas. And it was a bit of a slog to get through.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, maybe if I rewatched it, it wouldn't be as bad, but...
No, it doesn't help. It does not help.
No, it doesn't?
It does not help.
It's got that same thing that Fall of Thunder tried to do, where it injects comedy into so many moments where it doesn't work, and the jokes aren't very good. I think some of the actors like Angelina Jolie and the guy from The Bodyguard, I can't remember his name, Richard Madden. Was it Madley?
Yeah, Richard Madden.
Madam.
Madam? Richard Madden!
No, for the most part, like, all the actors are on top form.
I don't think performances are really true in any of these movies, really.
Apart from Harry Styles in the post-credits. He's as stiff as a brick.
I think with Eternals, like, there's so many issues, even down to like a storytelling perspective. Like, it's so broken, this movie. It's annoying because there's so many things in Phase 4 that I'm like, this could have been a TV show, and they made it a film. And this TV show probably could have been a movie, and they made it a TV show. Like, Eternals is primed. You've got no real box office draw there. You're choosing people who have mainly made their names through TV. Gemma Chan through Humans. Richard Madden through Game of Thrones and Bodyguard. You've got Kumail Nanjiani, who's a stand-up comedian, who made his name through Silicon Valley, starring in loads of sitcoms, and then The Big Sick. Great movie, by the way. You should check it out. Then you've got a load of, like, Angelina Jolie. Sure, she's expensive. Who's the other one? Salma Hayek. Sure, she's expensive. Everyone else, I think they'd agree to do TV. And especially with the way TV's going nowadays, people, like, these big actors do TV. So why not make Eternals the first big step into TV for Marvel and make it this grand epic show that keeps people going back for more every week? Make it like 10 episodes long. Do a Game of Thrones thing. Give it all the budget you want. Make it as pretty as this movie is, because this movie is stunning to look at.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
It looks great, and that's because Chloe Zhao is a great filmmaker. But she's not used to having a $200 million budget where every decision she makes about a character is scrutinized by millions of angry comic book fans. Like, it's just not the same world. And I really hope she makes something else and comes back from this, because this is a low point.
Yeah.
It's clear she can work with actors, because the actors, like we said, are doing really well. But the story just becomes too much for her.
I mean, a problem I have with it applies to this and Wakanda Forever. It's too long.
It's too long.
Especially for an introduction to a what do you call it?
An ensemble cast.
Yeah, I mean, is it 2 hours and 40 minutes?
2 hours and 40 minutes.
That is way too long for a film that introduces characters.
At the time it was the second longest Marvel movie. Now it is, I think, the third, behind Wakanda Forever. So we got
too long.
Two of the longest ones.
Yeah, it's just way too long. And for characters that honestly I didn't really care about, I didn't want to spend 2 hours and 40 minutes with them.
Yeah, you don't. And I think, like, there's so much of it that's like, that I know, I get they're a family and they've been around for thousands of years. I don't think much of the cast have that great a chemistry. Like, you've got to do that bit right. There's a couple of them that do really play off each other well. But Richard Madden and Gemma Chan, it looks like they just met each other. Like, they've got nothing going on at all. They are in, like, Marvel's first ever sex scene. And
oh god, yeah, that's in this as well.
Yeah. It was like a huge thing that they put sex in this movie. And it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. They ruined it. That's why it's at the bottom. Like, this is a house of God.
How dare you put a bad sex scene in Marvel? It should have been a good one.
It should have been a good You know what? If I had a good sex scene in it, it'd been number one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instantly. Started from the bottom, now we're here. I could rant about Eternals being a failure for a long time. And it's such a shame, because I don't want it to be. I want them to take risk and make new stories.
Yeah.
Because talking about, like, 7 Captain America films is boring. So they somehow made 3 Ant-Man and the Wasp movies, and the first time they make a real chance, they take a chance on something, it flops spectacularly. Like, this is the lowest grossing MCU movie. It grossed.
Damn.
Where is it? That's the average. Sorry. It just crossed, by the skin of its teeth, $400 million worldwide.
Oh my god.
On like a $200 million budget. The lowest overall is, to be fair, The Incredible Hulk. But that feels a little out of place. This is like Marvel straight after Endgame, pumping out movies left, right, and centre. It's Phase 4. We're keeping going. We're chugging along. Let's go. And it stunk up the gaff.
It is, yeah.
It stunk.
Yeah.
And you can't even say that it's because of, like the pandemic or whatever, because a month later, Spider-Man comes out and makes $2 billion.
Exactly,
so, like,
and
it's not
that
about
film
the
is
movies.
pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So it's difficult. It's difficult to talk about.
I do think, though...
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I do think, though, I was going to go into Black Panther. The Black Panther is
great.
Stronger.
It is. I rewatched it last night. Still, it's too long. It's
Absolutely.
too long. It's
Did
really
you
too long.
did you see the? I think the editor said it was originally over 4 hours, and the reshoots were to cut out this like plot with Shuri and Namor underwater. Um, so
I
yeah, it
think
was
that's the
originally
part
so
of the
much
movie
longer.
that drags. I think that's the part of the movie that drags. It like spends so much time wanking itself off, being like, "This is this amazing underwater world." It's trying to be Avatar. My house. I watched this with my housemate last night. For some reason, she doesn't like the Marvel movies. She's watched about 7 of them in the past week and a half because I've been watching them, including last night. Sat and watched this with me, and she was like, "So hang on, there's blue people in an underwater civilization." I'm like, yeah. She said, do you mean like Avatar? I said, yeah. When you come to think about it, it's the first movie is a cultural phenomenon, made loads of money, and people really cared about it. The second movie comes along, releases in late 2022, owned by Disney,
Oh,
and it features this same society finding out there's a separate society that are blue that live underwater.
you are connecting dots here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the thing about this
it's
film,
poor timing. It's poor
Yeah.
timing, and the underwater bits don't look that good. Like I think the biggest problem with the CG in this movie is Go Power Rangers and all the underwater segments. I think because
it
they try and make it look real underwater, and
some of
you've got to do
some
what
of the
Avatar did. And you've got to
scenes,
light it differently.
some of the scenes they did actually film underwater. So where Namor, I think when he's like getting his army together underwater, that is him underwater.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because when they asked him, "Can you swim? Have you ever like swam before?" He said, "Well, I've not drowned."
That's
So
good. I like
yeah,
that. I like that.
I think despite the problems of the film, it's it's a great way to commemorate Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, for sure. It's a touching tribute, and I'll give that the movie its props there. But that doesn't make the movie great. The movie still has to movie. You know what I mean?
I like the soundtrack. That's going to be a consistent thing with this. But
Yeah.
again, the CGI. Why does Shuri not have like a physical Black Panther costume in that final fight? It's her head's floating. There's no weight to the fight.
No, and I was thinking about this last night. How come she can fight all of a sudden? In Black Panther, we see her specifically she has these guns because she's unable to fight people. So now, does the heart-shaped herb like give you like a black belt in karate as well? Is that what happens?
I think it does strengthen you up.
It strengthens you up, but like now she can do flips and stuff like that. Like, how come? Where's that come from?
Did
I don't know.
Shuri blip?
I have no idea. It's never brought up.
Because I was going to say if she didn't, she could have trained in those 5 years.
I think so. I don't know. It's kind of implied when she comes through the portal at the end of Endgame with Black Panther. I don't know, but I like the ending, and I like the whole battle, like the whole them blowing up Wakanda. I think that's really well done. Angela Bassett's a national treasure. We need to
Angela Bassett did the thing.
I think Riri Williams I think she's a cool introduction. I like the character, and I think the comments she was making, like the funny, sarky comments, I think she felt like a real person. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you wouldn't say that in that situation, but most of the things she was saying, it wasn't like, oh, she's saying like, oh right, okay, yeah, give me that, yeah, like that kind of thing. I think she's got a slightly different energy to her, and I kind of liked that. So in that sense, I'm excited for a solo show that's coming out on Disney Plus, but also
her suit was garbage.
Her suit was garbage, man. I was really excited when she had that original suit in the garage, and she's like, it's clearly like hung together by duct tape. I'm like, that's great. Give me more of this, please. And then at the end, she looks like a transformer,
Like, Power Ranger.
She looks like a Power Ranger, man. It's just, It's so stupid.
I guess it's easier to sell toys if it's like that, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we know which one we're gonna pick because one of these actually is kind of a good movie.
One of these entertained me in some points and was a touching tribute.
Yeah. And the other is the Eternals.
Yes, so I think that solidifies what we've gone with.
Yeah. I think if you want to hear more about the Eternals, we did do a podcast on it. I'm not. I wrote a full essay on that movie because it when we reviewed it, I did a big paragraph on it because it upset me. But I think it's fair to say that Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is going through to the next round, and it will be facing up against a tough opponent going forward. The next one. It's Ant-Man and the Wasp, the 29 seed, versus the number 36 seed, Thor, original Thor.
Ooh. See, I've just had to check my letterbox to see where I ranked them, and they are right next to each other.
That makes sense.
Oh, this is tricky.
So, I'll be honest, Thor is the one film from this opening bracket that I wanted to rewatch, but didn't.
Okay.
So I'm sorry about that. Because the most recent one I've watched is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because I watched it last week. And Thor pisses me off so much.
Oh no!
I think the story's fine. You know, the performances are fine. Looks like ass. For some reason, the whole film is shot in Dutch angles.
The weird thing is the Dutch angles don't come in until they arrive in the little town. I don't think.
I just why?
This is the idiot's
Why?
lantern of Marvel.
Why? It's all on a tilt. Why are you on a tilt? There's no reason for it to be on a tilt. You're just making me tilted. Stop it. You're triggering me. So I'm just the whole time tilting my head. Oh, no, it's the other way. All right, okay. Okay, there's no reason for it. It winds me up. There's nothing that makes me so angry in a movie. Makes me more angry in a movie than unearned Dutch angles. I've seen one earned Dutch angle.
What was that?
That I can think of off the top of my head, and it's in Stranger Things. They're arguing with someone who they think it's a body snatcher thing, and they're talking in the office with him, and they're like, please stop. And he hits the table. The whole thing's straight, and then he hits the table, it goes to a tilt, and then the rest of the thing's on a Dutch angle because they're like, oh my god, this guy's one of the body snatch people. Really great use of a Dutch angle because you're like, okay, we think we know what's going on. Oh, but now the camera's sort of telling me that something different's going on. There is no reason to do it in here. It looks ugly. It makes your movie look bad. Bad movie. I want Ant-Man and the Wasp to go through. I will fight you on this.
Okay. See, on my letterbox, Ant-Man and the Wasp is above it, but I'm just trying to think through it. Because Thor, I love the characters. I mean, this is Loki's first film, and Loki's great.
This is Loki.
It's a fan favorite of C1. Thor is not annoying. He's funny in this film. He's actually pretty funny, but he's not annoying.
And he's got so much heart. I think you see it throughout the films. It sort of progressively gets it seems like he cares less and less. In this, he deeply cares about everyone. He's got so much heart in this.
He goes drinking with Eric Selvig.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I didn't originally think much to it, but then I rewatched it and I don't know. I loved it a lot.
Maybe it does need a rewatch, and that's why I wanted to rewatch it because I was I didn't want to come into this and just moan about Dutch angles. I didn't want to do that, and I spent a full minute talking about Dutch angles.
The one weird bit about it, I think it's such a weird bit. They get rid of Loki shouts at Odin, and he's like, "Oh, I've had enough. I'm gonna go into the Odin sleep," and he sleeps for most of the film, and he only wakes up later on "I'm fine, everyone."
That's because Anthony Hopkins, one, was too expensive, and two, just doesn't care. He does not care. He's the worst part of the Thor films.
He's the worst father in the world.
He's so bad. He's like, but you're not king.
And there's like
He
one
just
bit where
shouts.
he barks at them. He goes, huh!
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He's such a
Um,
weird guy, man. What's he on?
Okay, I love 4,
Yeah.
but I think
Up.
hmm.
He's got blonde eyebrows and a blonde
Oh
beard in
yeah,
this. He dyed
that is
them.
weird. That is weird.
Ant-Man and the Wasp goes through.
Wait. Let me plead my case. Let me. And I want to wait. Let me quickly just do like a 30-second about Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love the Ant-Man universe.
Okay.
I think they're all great in it. I think the villains are slightly weak
Yeah.
in that they're not really villains.
Yep.
The Quantum Realm looks good. Louise is good.
Yep.
Soundtrack is good.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. I think I prefer 4 to it. Because there's so many characters in that that I like Phil Coulson, and Jane and Thor and Loki. So I think I prefer 4.
Thor feels like a movie.
I mean, all of these are movies.
It's got a movie plot, whereas Ant-Man and the Wasp feels like, here's what Ant-Man was doing during Infinity War, and it's like it feels like it could be like a 20-minute short. I said this last week. Ant-Man and the Wasp, great action sequences. They're all in the trailer, so it's a shame. But this movie, what it has going for it is the fun action sequences. It is fun to see. Like the car chase at the end is cracking.
I think one other thing is that 4, if you watch it with all the other films in Phase 1, if you watch those in a row, it is so satisfying. Because you have all the connected dots. Like this is after Iron Man 2, so you've seen Phil Coulson leave to go somewhere, and in this one you have Phil Coulson at the hammer, and it all feels so connected, and it's satisfying to watch. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go with 4.
Fine. You know what?
It's a tiebreak.
You know what? I was hoping to go for Thor anyway. Because
No.
Simply because I want another excuse to have to watch it next week. Or next time we do this.
That is a good point.
I want an excuse to watch this movie again because I feel like maybe I am missing something. And you know what? I hope I'm right.
There is some bits where I'm like, okay. But I don't know if it's because I watched it in English class once as well, but I had fun with it. I watched it one evening. It was like, this is a lovely film to just put on and watch.
Yeah, for sure. I get that.
Like, it takes itself seriously, and still it's funny and charming.
Yeah. So, Thor is going to go through. Ant-Man and the Wasp has been squished. And
very good.
And Thor goes through to the next round. It's not going to get through the next round, absolutely, because I'm going to watch it and realise all of the faults with it.
Boo.
But I'm mainly doing this to just make it suffer more next time. I'm a bastard. I'm sorry.
You're a bastard.
Right. So this is the last matchup on the first half of the bracket. It is the number 28 seed, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, versus the number 37 seed, Thor: The Dark World.
Right. For the Dark World. Now, there was a moment during the summer where I was like, okay, is it really that bad? So I rewatched it and I was like, okay, it's okay. And then I rewatched it for this, and it's gone down. It's one of the worst. It's so boring.
It's
nothing
so boring. Nothing happens. It's
Eccleston is wasted.
Christopher Eccleston, man. Wasted. It does have some fun stuff in it. Loki is really great.
Loki's
I feel
one
like
of the best
this is where he became like an icon. I think the final battle is silly but fun. You know, like all the portals are there, and
the
he's
portals are
flying
good
from world to world.
The problem is, I do not care about Malekith and his. I want to turn out the sun, and I want the universe to be dark, so no one can see. Like, what?
Is that your
What
northern
is your
accent?
motive?
Is that your northern accent?
That was an accent. I don't know what it was.
I love that Christopher Eccleston, no matter what
Rose.
what kind of role he's doing, And what language he's speaking, he's still
He'll be
from
Northern.
the north. He'll still be from north.
You're gonna burn.
You're gonna.
It's
That was a niche Doctor Who reference. I love it.
It's a film that exists.
It does exist.
And it's one of the stinkier ones of the MCU. There's a lot of setup for like the Infinity Stones and
yeah, it's crazy that this is like to understand Endgame. This is like a must-watch. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate what they did, but like, I don't want to watch this again. I mean, also though, Frigga's death, that's good.
Yeah, that's well done. I think again the movie, like CGI wise, I think it looks pretty much flawless. I don't remember specifically any really bad moments.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. But it's just a slog. I mean, I was on my phone a lot during it, not just because, you know, I need to go on my phone, but because I was not interested in what was on the screen.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
I think
Multiverse of Madness, though.
Yeah. It's okay.
I like it. I like it. It does have problems, mainly the fact that Scarlet Witch goes evil off camera.
Yeah, I still don't like the reasoning that the screenwriter said for that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty poor planning, especially after WandaVision, where you've kind of got the perfect opportunity to make her bad and go fully into it. I think that I'd like Doctor Strange as a character. I think since the first Doctor Strange, I thought he was okay. Then he was in Thor Ragnarok, brilliant cameo. Avengers Infinity War, excellent bit part. Back in Endgame, carries on being this excellent just bit part. Then he comes back in, what's he in next? Spider-Man?
Yeah, No Way Home.
Yeah, he's in Spider-Man. Really, really great, like, partnering up with Spider-Man. And then, yeah, he gets his own movie again. I'm like, yeah, I'm hyped for this. I don't care that it's like Multiverse of Madness. Whoa, there's going to be loads of cameos, whatever. I'm like, I'm invested in Doctor Strange now because Marvel have done such a great job of putting him in other things and saying like, oh yeah, he's going to be here all the time. And he's going to be like a key component going forward. And he's dropped in, he's used so well in between his own movie in 2016 and this movie. So then when I see him on screen, I'm like, my guy, let's go. Soon.
I feel like his American accent is a little grating and his wig isn't very good. But, you know, that's not to do with like story or anything.
Yeah.
I think the Sam Raimi elements of the film is where it shines. Those are the best bits. Like
absolutely.
The horror sections. You know, my problem with the film, surprisingly, is the cameos. This should have been a pure Doctor Strange film. We didn't need the cameos. The moment they come in, the story sort of falls apart. It's like, oh no, we're gonna look at these guys now. Oh no, now they're dead.
Story stops. Story stands still.
It stops to go. It stops to please the fans, which shouldn't be what the story is.
No. But you call your movie Multiverse of Madness, and it comes with an implication.
Yeah.
After you've just had Spider-Man, where it's opened the multiverse, and you've had all these cameos, it's like, yep, great, cool. We want more. Like,
and also, like, I expected Loki to be in this because, you know, he messed with the multiverse. Like, as soon as that finale happened of Loki, I was like, okay, we're gonna see him again in Multiverse of Madness, and it was rumored that he was gonna be in it.
I thought he was gonna be in it, but
yeah, I don't know. I think you could have got rid of the Illuminati and had Loki and looked at more of the multiverse.
Yeah, because like we get that amazing like bit where they're like crashing through loads of different ones.
Yeah,
that visually is fantastic. I think this movie again visually, no issues visually.
And the action's great.
Really good. And the action's really good as well with the horror bits.
Okay.
Really dig. And the music is really good in this. Especially the music when he like zombie Strange
is it
puts
the
on this
guitar?
cloak. The guitar is so good. The guitar is so good.
There's also a really good track. I think again with the guitar, it's like a montage of Wanda crossing over into the other dimension, the other multiverse. I think I prefer the music by Michael Giacchino, even though it sounds like Star Trek. I feel like his has more of a melody, if that makes sense.
That's fair. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I love Danny Elfman, but for this film I was like, okay, but what is the theme for Doctor Strange in this film? It just sounded like lots of bits pieced together.
Yeah.
That's a minor critique, but
yeah, I like the running question. Everyone, no matter what universe he's in, they keep asking him, are you happy?
Yeah.
And it's like a running theme throughout the whole movie. And I'm like, it's a really simple question. And it's like, it's clear at the start of this that he's not. And by the end, he sort of finds something in himself that he can be like, yeah, I feel better.
I feel like they should have played more on that, because I think it's only brought up twice.
I think it's a few more times than that. I think it's like 3 or 4.
Okay.
Different people ask him, and I'm like,
but that could have been a great focus. Like this should have just been lots of Doctor Stranges.
Exactly. And they
you
try
don't need
and
these other characters.
Yeah, I think genuinely what you were saying about the Illuminati. I think if that was just a panel of different Doctor Stranges,
that would have been so cool. Like loads of Doctor Stranges, because then you have a fight with all the different. What we could have got.
I also really like the Doctor Strange costume we get. In this, it's a little more pronounced. That big like sort of tail thing in the middle of him that's like a slightly lighter blue.
Yeah.
And I think with Sam Raimi directing it, again, the movie just looks fantastic. Like in terms of
very colourful
lighting and colour grading, it looks really great. It's like, again, did not think I'd have to say that.
It's the bare minimum, guys. Come on.
It's the bare minimum, man. Yeah, one of these movies is good. Like, let's stop beating around the bush. We're going to talk about it again next week with Hamish, because he's going to have to add his own thoughts. Let's put Multiverse of Madness through and be done with it.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Thor the Dark World will not see the light.
The light. Yes! Haha.
Yes, let's go. Now we're moving on to the other side.
Row 2.
And we've got 4 more matchups. The first one. It's number 38. The latest Marvel Cinematic Universe entry. It is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania versus the number 27 seed, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Easy. This is easy.
It's easy. Quantumania, baby.
Yeah, it's no.
I don't think we need to discuss Quantumania too much. We talked about it last week. Have your thoughts changed much on it? Did you get to go and see it again?
I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, no, because it's ass. Don't do it.
It's okay. I think it's alright, but it's not anything revolutionary, and it doesn't throw an end to the Ant-Man trilogy. 1, it doesn't really feel like an Ant-Man film, and 2, there's not enough stakes, so it's pretty average. But Shang-Chi,
good movie.
Like when Marvel came back during COVID, that was the film where I was like, oh, we are back. Because Black Widow, at the time, I thought was a bit stinky. Now I like it, but this was like, oh, I love martial arts. It's so good to see.
Me too.
I preferred that over a big CGI fight. Oh, although this does have the big CGI dragon at the end.
But it's a dragon, man. It's a dragon fight. That's like the coolest version of a big CGI
They could have
fight.
got real dragons and had a ride on them and just filmed them. Why didn't they do that? You have them in Wales. They're on the flag. Come on.
I really, really like this movie. It quickly became like top 5 for me of all MCU.
I just want to see him again in another film.
I think it does have some problems, and my main problem with this movie is Ben Kingsley. He's in it a little bit too much, isn't he?
Yeah, you don't.
And he
need
doesn't
him.
shut up much. yeah, he kind of ruins some moments, but I think the fight sequence with the guy in the white paint in China, in like that behind with the broken window, might be the best fight sequence in Marvel.
I really love the see the bus fight is great, but
Bus
the
fight
one
is
with
good.
the bamboo sticks, it brought me back to, have you seen Rush Hour 2?
I've not seen any of the Rush Hour films.
Okay, so there's
I
like
know.
there's a sequence on bamboo, and it brought me right back to that. It's such a good bit, and the music. I don't know the name, unfortunately, but the soundtrack for this film is godly. I got goosebumps at points. You could tell it's a good soundtrack when that happens.
Yeah.
I loved it. Such a good film.
Yeah,
And the
no,
villain, not really a villain. Like, you sort of cared for him at points. Or
yeah,
I did,
because
at least.
at the end of the day, it's still like a father-son story, isn't it?
Hmm.
Which is really nice, and there's some flashback moments that are really great. I think the main performance from Simu Liu is really great.
He's so
like
charming.
Him. He's so charming in real life as well. And I think this is like the one movie where I actually quite liked Aquafina. She's so annoying in like everything else she does.
She's good in the what's it called? The one where she has to lie about her is it her gran being ill?
Oh, the farewell.
The farewell. She's good in that.
You're right. She's good in that. That's because that movie's not a comedy. That movie's so messed up, and it's really great. You should watch it.
Yeah.
She's clearly got dramatic chops, but I just don't find her funny in the slightest.
No.
But she's really good in this.
I think,
and I like the platonic relationship as well.
Yeah.
It would have been so easy to make them be like, oh, they're together, but they didn't, and I like that.
I love the film. There are tiny problems I have. Like, this seems to be an ongoing problem. The middle act of these films drags.
Little bit.
Like, they don't know what to do in the middle. Because again, like with Black Widow, there's a lot of talking and a lot of flashbacks. Yeah.
Hey, you'll never guess who gets introduced in the middle of this movie.
Who?
Ben Kingsley.
Well, that makes sense.
And that's why.
Also, did we need Abomination in the film? It was cool to see him, but
no, he's not a big part. He's just, I mean, it's clearly there to sort of half set up She-Hulk or whatever. But it's just
I guess so. Yeah.
This underground fighting scene has like superheroes fighting. It's like, yeah, that's fun. I like that.
Hmm.
I don't really have a problem with that. I have a problem that it was in the trailer and that it was like really bigged up as to be like a big fight sequence, and it's just literally it's like 2 punches and done.
If we could put something below the film that ranks last, I'd put Marvel trailers and spoilers, because it is atrocious. Stop it, Marvel. Stop it.
Yeah, it's getting like the marketing you had for Infinity War and Endgame. Keep that up, please.
Yeah, we didn't know anything about that film.
Yeah.
Or those films, sorry.
Or even No Way Home, because there was no trailer for Solo. Yeah, sure, the leaks were bad, but the trailers were great.
I mean, I like the original idea of how they originally intended to just have Doctor Strange as the villain in the trailer and keep everything a surprise. That was the original idea. That would have been amazing.
Anyway.
I don't know. But back to Shang-Chi, I think...
Back to Shang-Chi.
What are your thoughts on it?
I really, really like it.
Yeah.
And I think I think it should get far in this, but it's going to depend on who it comes up against.
That's true. It is very strong film.
That is what the tournament is all about. There's some things in here that might get quite far, and it might be like, how is that far when this other thing got out early? It's just about who you come up against. We might have in the next round like Guardians of the Galaxy versus Avengers Infinity War. Like, that is like two of the best ones. Like, how do you choose that? You cannot. And then the next round, like, whoever wins might face up against Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, you know, it just is what it is. It just sort of the way it falls. But I think Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was never going to get out of the first round, no matter who it came up against.
No.
I think even if it came up against the Eternals, I'd have probably let that go through, because at least it tried something.
It's really you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh damn! No, I would have put Quantumania through.
Well, at least we know we're definitely going to put Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings through.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely.
There you go. There you have it.
Boom.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I squished it again, you little fucker. I squished you again. Have that! Right. The next matchup. Iron Man 2, 35. Versus number 30, Captain Marvel.
Oh, I know my answer, because
I know my
one
answer.
of them is a really good film.
Really good film?
I enjoyed it a lot.
Come on.
So, it's Captain Marvel. I had a lot of fun with it. I get that men don't like this film, but I think it's I think it is so fun. It's so good. I love Brie Larson. I think she's great in this. Stop telling her to smile more. Leave her alone. Like the stuff with her relationship with Nick Fury. That's great. The Skrulls are quite cool. I just had so much fun with it. Yeah.
My main problem with this movie is Brie Larson. Hear me out. I promise I don't hate women.
Are you
I
sure?
promise I don't hate women.
Okay, I'll let you cook. I'll let you cook.
Let me cook. I think the performance is just kind of flat. I get what she's going for. I think she's going for that stoic. But I'm kind of cheeky with people I know. Doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me. I think she comes across as like really condescending to a lot of people. And I'm not sure, like, genuinely, I really want to like her because she's clearly going to be a big part going forward. She was introduced as the savior for the Avengers at the end of Infinity War. Like, she's going to come in. I'm like, please be great. And I think everything else about this movie is really good except for her. I think she's the one thing that's dragging me away from this movie to love it. I rewatched it the other night. I think it is solid. I think the action's really fun, especially at the end. There's that joyous moment when she's flying through all these exploding all these ships, and she just belly bounces one of them. That's excellent, and that's like woo, and yeah, that's great. Do that more, please. I think she's got really good chemistry with the little girl.
Yeah.
Which is such a
Monica
shame
Rambeau,
that we're never going to see her. Yeah. Such a shame that we're never going to see that little girl again because
they keep doing this, with Cassie and Ant-Man as well.
Yeah, she's really great, and Lashana Lynch, Monica Rambeau. Oh my god, she's so good in this. That moment, it might be one of my favorite dramatic scenes in the MCU when she finds out that she's been lied to for what seems like her entire life, and she comes out. And Lashana Lynch is there, and she's like, "I know you don't know who you are. Well, I do." And that's so good. The camera work is great as well. That it's in natural light and everything. I think that looks great. I really like the twist with the Skrulls. I think it's everyone who's who's heard of the Skrulls knows. Oh, they're the villains, and it's a really simple thing to just be like, what if they're not? Really simple. Worried they might ruin that with Secret Invasion because now that is just Skrulls.
I think it could be a different faction. Like it's an Easter egg, but Doctor Who you have Zygons and you have the good ones, you have the bad ones.
Yeah.
So you have same with humans. You've got the shit ones like Elon Musk, or the good ones like I don't know, Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman is a good one, to be fair.
Yeah,
that was a good call. Yeah, it's. I do have a soft spot for Captain Marvel. Most people sort of say, yeah, it's terrible. I'm like, yeah, it's not great. But having rewatched it, I'm like, there are some good bits in this. Tries to be too funny at points. That's the same with all Marvel films. I kind of hate the cat.
Yeah, this is one thing. That's one thing I like the cat. But I don't think it should have been the reason why Nick Fury lost tonight, because he mentions it a few times, like in Winter Soldier and Avengers Assemble, like it's this big thing. Nope, a cat scratched his eye.
Yeah, I think they played off well by coming in and like Coulson's like, oh, did you like get it ripped out by a Kree demon or something? He's like, I don't want to talk about it. It's like that's really good. I quite like that. You know, it sets up that fun joke, but like implications on the rest of the universe is like, oh right, okay. He's just like, cool, great. I think the CG on him on the de-aging stuff, perfect. This might be the best version of it that we've had. Only problem, de-aging a 70-year-old man into looking like a 30-year-old man is cool and all, but he still runs like a 70-year-old man and fights like a 70-year-old man.
I didn't really notice it, to be honest.
So if he's doing anything at all, other than sitting down, doesn't look great.
It's like de-aging someone who's walking with a Zimmer frame.
Exactly. They've still got the Zimmer frame. Iron Man 2, it sucks. My board.
My board. I want my board.
It's not good. It feels long. It's so slow. There was a trouble production because it was rushed into production.
There's multiple endings, isn't there?
Yeah, loads of stuff going on. Doesn't really set up much going forward. It just kind of ambles, but it does have like a really great scene on the racetrack.
Oh yeah, the racetrack stuff's good. Even though Elon Musk is in it.
Elon Musk is in it. Oh no, he was your example of bad humans.
Oh well, this film has to lose because there's a bad human in it.
There's a bad human in it. No, I think there's more reasons for it to go down.
There are some good bits, but
yeah, like the final action sequence, they're just blowing up robots, but like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I think the like I said, the racetrack sequence when he's putting on the Iron Man suit, really great. I constantly, whenever I hear "Shoot to Thrill" by AC/DC, I try and pretend like I'm landing like Iron Man when the chorus kicks in, because that's iconic to me. That's unreal.
I love Justin Hammer in this film. Bring him back.
Yes!
He is so... When he comes out and does his little dance. Amazing.
Yeah. I think Sam Rockwell's Justin Hammer should have been the guys that are trying to get the lab in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, yeah, that
How much
worked.
better would that have made it? It just expands the universe
because he wants the
bit.
tech. Yeah,
he wants the tech. It's
that
really
works.
easy to rewrite that movie and make Justin Hammer, and you can have it end the exact same way. The rest of the movie can continue on as it was, but it's just Sam Rockwell instead of Walton Goggins.
I think they're thinking of bringing him back. I don't know if it's for Thunderbolts or
Maybe
Captain America.
We'll have to see. I think this one's pretty straightforward. I think Hamish likes this one, so he's kind of going to be a little bit fuming that he decided to skip out on this one. But
he likes Iron Man 2?
I think so. I think you were talking about it a few weeks ago.
Oh.
Well, either way, he's wrong. Captain Marvel goes through and Iron Man 2 gets whipped? That seems a little... seems a...
my mic.
seems a little charged, that one, I'll be honest. I might have to come back to that one.
If that's not the title for the podcast, Iron Man 2 gets whipped.
Right, two more. This one, I think, depending on your perspective, this one might be slightly difficult.
Okay.
It's the number 39 seed, third bottom, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, versus the number 26 seed, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I don't know why this would be difficult. Because The Falcon and Winter Soldier is one of my favourite Marvel projects.
Oh. Okay.
I think it is so good. Like, I had such a fun time watching it week by week. I'm invested in Sam and Bucky. I think they're great. Seeing what's his name? It's not Arnim Zola. What's he called?
Baron Zemo.
Baron Zemo. I knew there's a Z in it. Baron Zemo's great. Even though like they put on the poster that he was going to wear the mask and he wears the mask in one scene in the show.
Yep. Yep.
The one thing I love about it, it's a character. Like, although there's action, the action is good. It's a character piece. You know, you have, is it
Isaiah Bradley.
Isaiah Bradley. I cried at that. I rarely cry at Marvel films and TV shows, but I cried at that. I love that Sam is the new Captain America. I love the new suit.
Yeah.
I think the weak bits is some of the freedom fighter plot. Some of it's unclear, I think.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
I didn't like in this show the villain. The villains were probably the worst part. Not John Walker. I think John Walker is an excellent character who they ruin in the final episode by redeeming him. Why would you do that? Just this was the problem with these Marvel shows. The finales suck.
Oh, they do.
The finales suck.
I mean,
because they go back on everything and they just want everyone to become, oh, they're all friends again, yay, because we can sell more toys that way. Because no one wants to play with the villain. John Walker, excellent villain for the first 5 episodes. Really great stuff. The ending of episode 4, still now, has me shook.
It's haunting.
It's haunting. Then the start of episode 5, that first action sequence, it's like 10 minutes long. Inject it.
I have
it into my veins.
Now that you've said that,
they mess this guy up, and it's so good. It feels so earned as well. If you watch the episodes, you see why they need to do this. It's really great. The problem is the villains. Like, they're freedom fighters, and they're like, we just want to help people, and then they just blow people up. It's like, right, cool, right, great.
Yeah.
And it's like it's one of those villains where it's like, yeah, your idea is so good that I'm like, yeah, I believe in this. And it's like, so they've got to do some terrible things, like, for no reason to make you hate them. And it's like, it's because they play dreaded music over the top when they're talking, and they have these meetings in super secret areas that makes you, oh, well, they must be villains then. If they're living here, these guys must be villains. And they're not really villains.
Yeah, the villains is definitely the weakest bit. That, and I don't care for Sharon Carter. I think she is not good in this.
No, past the point. We got Peggy back. We don't need her.
And also, is it Baron? Not Baron von. The wrestler
Baron
guy
Zemo.
from Winter Soldier.
Oh, he's called the Kicker, isn't he?
Or something like that. I don't care for him. I do not care for him. He just, I don't know, it seemed like they wanted to add a lot of things from the Captain America films, and were like, oh, we'll add him in because it seems right. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, the villains are definitely the weakest bit. But for a show called Falcon and Winter Soldier, the strongest bits are the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Batroc, George Batroc.
Batroc, that's the one. Yeah, I didn't see the need for him in this. He just
I think he's called the Leaper.
Okay.
Because he does a lot of kicking. George Batroc, the Leaper. Yeah, he is the Leaper. Oh, Batroc the Leaper. Oh, I'm a beast. I'm a genius.
Yeah, I didn't really care for him. But when you mentioned the start of episode 5 with the fight scene, there's the same composer for this as the Captain America Winter Soldier and Civil War, which is so satisfying to hear all those themes. But to hear some of the themes from Civil War when they're fighting in the start of episode 5,
yeah,
delicious,
really, really good,
tasty,
really, really good,
so good.
So I think it does have its good parts, but I think it is let down by, like I said, what feels like a rushed finale. I think this is the one that I'm like, I'd have watched a movie on this instead. I'd have happily watched a movie on this. Just have the villain be John Walker. Like, that is fine. We can have Captain America be a villain for an episode, for a movie, because we don't have a Captain America. Just go for it, please. She-Hulk could turn it law, though.
I find some of it fun. I liked the Daredevil episode and the one with the magician and Wong. Those were good.
Yes.
Um, although you said you didn't like the Captain America, the Falcon and Winter Soldier finale. I didn't like the finale to She-Hulk because it felt like we have no ideas. So she's gonna just break the fourth wall and say how the show doesn't have any ideas and they don't know what to do with the finale. And then you have the Hulk's son just pop up at the end with a fresh trim.
Yeah, its main problem is, I think its main problem is that it doesn't know what it wants to be. Like it's trying to be a lawyer sitcom set in this universe, but it's also got to appease people in the fact that like it's a superhero show, so you kind of got to have like action and stuff like that. It's also trying to be a full-on lawyer show, but the writers have come out and said they didn't want to make a lawyer show; they wanted to make it like a sitcom. And it's like I'm absolutely down for a sitcom, like a high-budget sitcom set in this universe. But like,
it didn't even feel like a
so
sitcom.
poor.
Yeah, the CGI was terrible.
Yeah, it is poor. What I would want to say though, and hear me out here,
Okay.
out of all the shows, bar 1, 2, I would love to see a second season of this, because what sitcom do you watch and say the first season's the best season?
That is true. The US Office is one of the best shows, and that first season just is average.
I think give it another season and watch it. Like, now it knows what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't.
Yeah,
Give them more time for the CG, for God's sake.
Well, they've said they're going to give more time to post production now, haven't they?
Yeah, and I would love to see a second season of this. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm ever going to get it, because there's just, for one thing, there's not enough. They're toning back on what's coming out, so they don't have time for things like silly TV shows like this. And people hate this. Like, the reaction to this is vitriolic. And I'm just like,
it's not that bad, but like,
it was fine.
You know,
Yeah,
it doesn't deserve like hate in
death
the streets
threats or whatever.
Yeah, but it's not one I'm in a rush to rewatch.
I think that's fair. That's fair. So I think it's pretty clear what's going through. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier
goes through to the next round.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the final matchup for us today.
Oh.
Just a solo one. This is by far the most difficult one.
Okay.
It's the number 34 seed. These two are right next to each other as well. 34. Captain America, the First Avenger. Versus the number 31 seed, Ant-Man.
Oh, you cruel man.
This one's tough. This one's very, very tough. We've saved the best for last.
Okay. I haven't watched the first Avenger in a while.
Okay.
Ant-Man I watched recently in the run-up to Quantumania, and
Yes.
I really dig that film. I think it's funny. The stuff with Ant-Man shrinking is great. Some of the stuff is pretty similar to Iron Man, but I have a lot of fun with it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite MCU films, I think, and I love the small scale of it.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. No, there actually wasn't.
I watched both of these recently. Ant-Man I watched in preparation for Quantumania, and the first Avenger I watched the other night. It was not on my list to rewatch, but I saw it on Disney Plus. I was like, you know what? It's been a while. Let's give it a look-see. God damn. What an absolute movie this is.
Well, the first Avenger.
Yeah.
You like it?
It's so good. It is so outrageously good for when it came out, and like how people like react to it now. It is so good. I think Chris Evans is pitch perfect casting. I love the opening in like when he's little. The CGI, yes, is rough, because like his head's moving about all over the place. Fine, look past it. He's only there for about 20 minutes. I love the idea that he's, you know, desperate to fight people, like just because he's like, I don't like bullies. He's so wholesome, and then he finally gets there are so many things set up in this that pay off so wonderfully by the end of the MCU. Like I think this movie has improved over time because I've seen Endgame. And The Winter Soldier and Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame. All those movies are because of this movie. And you know that because it's the same writers, Marcus and McFeely, who wrote the first Avenger, went on to write all the big films in the MCU. Okay. They have a love for this character, and you can tell because everything is paid off by the end.
Yeah. I mean, the Captain America films, that's the best trilogy.
Absolutely. Because there's not a bad one in them. Everything else, like Iron Man 2, terrible, ruins the trilogy. Thor 1 and 2, terrible, ruins the trilogy. Ant-Man, let's not. Like that, there are so many things that are ruined. Even Avengers 2 isn't great, kind of ruins the trilogy. Captain America, there is not a bad one. People say the first one is the worst one. I'm backing myself here. I think the first one might be the best one.
I think the first one
I
think the first one is the worst one, but that's not me saying it's bad. That's me saying it's still very good, but it's not as good as the others.
I think it's so simple because it's just a man fighting Nazis. You cannot, for one thing, you cannot not back him, and you cannot hate the villains. You cannot not hate the villains. Sorry, God.
What, Xander?
I think Hugo Weaving is hamming it up because he knows what kind of film he's in. It's a 1940s style propaganda piece about how great America is. The man is dressed like the American flag and has a shield that has the stars and stripes on it. Come on!
I want to see more historical Marvel films.
Absolutely.
It's such a good setting.
Let the director who makes it set it, like, make it in the style of that movie, because this feels like a propaganda film in all the best ways. The Star-Spangled Man is the biggest banger the MCU has ever released.
And it's in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
It is. It will be on my Spotify somewhere. I have to find it. It has been stuck in my head all week. I think the action's really great as well.
Yeah.
The action's really great. One minor critique. As they lead up, after he becomes Captain America, he joins the war effort, meets up with the Howling Commandos. The movie goes a little montagey before the end. Like, it shows them taking down all these Hydra bases. I'm like, I would have liked to see more of this, but that's fine. We've got to get to this bit. Because that bit is the bit that feels like he's watching a bit earlier on where he's like watching them go from place to place and they're showing it back in cinemas back home. It's like, yeah, this feels like what we'd sit and watch back at home. We'd watch this kind of propaganda film to be like, yeah, the war. Fuck the Nazis. That can be the title. And I think the ending is so hauntingly beautiful. The final, it was obviously meant to be the post-credit scene. When he wakes up in modern day, that was obviously meant to be the post-credit scene because the music trails off at the end of the last shot and leads directly into the credits, where it's like dun 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 dun, which is also great music. More great music from this. Oh my word! And the moment from Endgame where he catches the hammer, he goes dun 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 dun. That's the same theme.
The same one.
You hear that in this. And I'm like, why am I getting goosebumps? What is this?
Here's the thing, and sometimes Marvel doesn't do it, but when there is continuity with music and you have recurring motifs such as that and him lifting Thor's hammer, it's so satisfying because you're like, I've heard that before and it makes sense here, and it happens.
So satisfying.
It happens again with a film later on. I don't know. Should I mention it now or?
Yeah, do it.
So in Avengers Assemble, when Coulson dies, there's this really haunting like high string piece, and it also plays when they're together in Endgame grieving the loss of Black Widow. I didn't notice this before, but it's so cool that they've used it twice when they're both reeling from after someone has died.
That's really. I like that a lot. Little things. And that's what the MCU has been so good at. That's why we love these movies. These little continuity moments.
I think as much as I like Ant-Man, I think maybe I did prefer. Even if I did, the way you've described it,
I'm gonna sway you so hard, and I swear to God, this movie will go far because I am so passionate about this, man. This movie is excellent.
We'll put it through.
We'll fucking go it through. We'll do it live. Let's live. Ant-Man, pay dues. I think it is solid. It's the best of the Ant-Man films by far. It's using its influence from Edgar Wright, and you know what? It should have been Edgar Wright directed, man. I think I said this last time. The worst parts about Ant-Man is the ties to the overall MCU. Absolutely. I think if you cut those out, the movie is slightly better just because it doesn't feel bogged down. But I get why they're there. I get that. Yeah, Ant-Man, really solid. Really extra solid on a rewatch. But it does not lace the boots of Captain America the First Avenger. I feel like I've just shouted at you. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, I wasn't ever Ant-Man.
But this was the one. The whole time we've been talking for like an hour and a half now. This was the only one I had my eye on because I was like, I swear to God, if this excellent movie goes out because Joe likes small Paul Rudd, I'm gonna.
I mean, we all like small Paul Rudd though, don't we? And his teeny weeny beanie.
His teeny weeny beanie. God. So. I'm voting for Captain America.
I will go with that as well.
Thank Christ. Captain America, the First Avenger, goes through to the round of 32. And Joe, we've done it. We've done our job.
By Jove, we've done it. Oh my God.
By Joe, we've done it.
By Joe.
So, the next time you hear a tournament episode, we will be doing the round of 32. For the MCU. And we'll give you a little sneak peek. We'll tell you what the matchups are.
Ooh.
The first matchup in the round of 32 will be Avengers Endgame, the number 1 seed.
Damn.
Versus Black Widow.
Oh.
The next one down is Ms. Marvel versus the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Ooh.
Then we've got Avengers Age of Ultron versus Doctor Strange.
Okay.
The next one is Loki versus Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Then we've got The Avengers versus Thor, Original Thor.
Oh, let's go.
Then the next one might be an interesting one to debate. What If versus Hawkeye.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
that's cool. That's a nice one. That's an interesting one.
Then we've got Black Panther versus Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Ooh, okay.
And the last one on the first side is Thor Ragnarok versus Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, I've made up my decision with that one already. Probably not the one you're expecting.
On the other side, this one, I didn't mean to do this, I promise. This is just the way it fell.
I can predict what's gone through. I can predict it.
It's the 22 seed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 versus the 11 seed Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, you mean man.
I know, it's tough. Then the next one, the newly entered Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings versus Captain America Civil War.
Oh.
That's a toughie.
That is a tough one.
Another toughie. Captain America the Winter Soldier versus Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, easy.
No, it's not.
Oh, absolutely.
One of those movies is my baby. Number 30, Captain Marvel, will face off against the infinitely better? Sorry, terrible pun. Avengers Infinity War. That's the number 3 seed.
Damn it.
Then the next one, 23, Moon Knight versus 10 WandaVision.
Ooh, okay.
Then we've got The Falcon and the Winter Soldier versus Spider-Man Far From Home.
Easy.
Then Iron Man 1 versus Iron Man 3.
Oh, that's cruel. That's a cruel one.
And then the final one that a lot of people might have their eye on. It's Captain America, the First Avenger, the number 34 seed, versus the number 2 seed, Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's going to be a tricky one. Well, will it?
There's a lot of fun matchups. I'm really looking forward to this one.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
And I'm sure you guys are too. So we will be posting on our socials when the next tournament episode is, so you can know when to get hyped for this. Because it will be coming back in I believe it's a couple of weeks' time. Next week we've got something else planned, and we'll come back to this in a couple of weeks with Hamish, and he can help us decipher the first half of the round of 32. That was fun.
I had a lot of fun. That was fun.
These are fun, right? These are fun.
They are. I like having the opportunity to rewatch a load of the Marvel films. It was great because I didn't have a reason before, but I found a new love for a lot of those films, like Thor and Captain Marvel and Black Widow.
Yeah, that's why these are so good. That's why these are so good. And thank you, Xander, for coming up with the idea.
Oh yeah, of course. I tip my hat, my invisible hat.
Joe.
Hello.
Do you want to sell me a movie or a TV show or a music or a game or a book if you're a nerd?
Nerd. Who reads words nowadays?
I know, right?
Who holds paper?
It's like slow TV.
It's like drinking rain.
Right, go on, Joe. Sell me something. What are you selling me?
So the other night, I saw that this had been re-added to Amazon Prime, and it's one of my favourite films, such a comfort film. Attack the Block, starring Jodie Whittaker and John Boyega. That is a peak film. It's like, I saw a review saying it's the equivalent of Paddington 2 to a lot of people. It's so much fun.
I get that.
I just, like, any opportunity to rewatch it, I will do it. It's a solid... I know you don't like ranking things, Xander, in terms of stars.
Absolutely.
And
go for it.
I'd say it's like a 4 stars, like an 8 out of 10. It's just so fun, and it's 90 minutes. I love 90-minute films. So digestible. So yeah, that is one I'd recommend. You can watch it at the moment on Amazon Prime, or you can get it on Blu-ray. Get it on Blu-ray because you will want to keep rewatching the film after it's removed, and support physical media. Do that. Do that. I would have loved to have seen this at like a film festival because I can imagine that being shown there, or just seeing it in cinemas because, you know, for a small, it was probably small budget and for a small film, it looks great. The visual effects with the creatures is great. You got a great cast.
Like, the creatures are all entirely like black fur, and their mouths are like glow in the dark.
Yeah,
really excellent design.
It's funny. Like, there's a lot of funny bits. Jodie Whittaker's in it, which immediately is a plus for me because she's a great doctor and great actor. John Boyega, one of his first films, I believe, before Force Awakens.
Breakout role.
He's great in it. And also the soundtrack. I love soundtracks.
Soundtrack's good as well.
It's great. It's like a sort of technological feel to it. But yeah, if you get the chance and you have a spare, I don't know, hour and a half, watch it. You'll thank me because it is so much fun. And if you love sci-fi, if you love horror, if you just love film,
and if you love Nick Frost,
he's in it too. Yeah,
Nick Frost is in it too.
And the guy from a street cat named Bob.
Yes, he is in it.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I'm gonna sell you a movie.
Okay.
Now, what if I told you, right? Hear me out.
Oh, here we go.
That there was a movie, okay, that starred some people who you don't care about.
Is it Eternals?
Because the main star of this movie is a bear that does cocaine.
Oh, I watched this. You
watched The Cocaine Bear
in cinemas.
I got a text off my friend. I was in work. He said, "What time do you finish work?" I was like, "Oh, about 6:30." She's like, "I'm picking you up." Okay. Get picked up from work. I get in the car and she's like, "Xander, have you ever heard of a movie called Cocaine Bear?"
It sounds
And I
like a
said,
great prophecy.
I said, "Why, yes, I have. And I'm very excited to see it." She said, "Well, we're going right now."
Oh,
So we went
that
to the
sounds
cinema
amazing.
to see The Cocaine Bear. The movie's garbage. The movie's hot trash, but like, it's The Cocaine Bear. It it is. You can't come out of this movie and be like, well, I was kind of expecting more. It's a bear that does cocaine and kills people.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. There's some characters I just didn't care for, but I think we can both say the ambulance scene is the best scene of the film.
Top tier.
I was laughing so hard. Go just to watch that scene.
The guy who plays the ambulance driver in that scene, he's on TikTok. And he did a thing on TikTok and put it on his Twitter account. I will send it you. It
Cool, I
is
wanna see it.
so funny. It is so funny. He's like reviewing it or like, here's what you need to know before you see Cocaine Bear. It's so good. I will send it you in a bit. It's so funny.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, that scene is excellent. I think the acting for the most part in this movie is awful.
Oh, you think
Awful
so?
acting. Awful performances. Yes, I think so.
I
They're
liked
in a
the
movie
police
called
guy.
Cocaine Bear.
I like the police guy. He was cool.
Like, I kind of think his story's quite fun. That he's like kind of looking for a dog. Like that he's trying to accept to himself that he likes this adorable little dog when he wants a big dog. Like it's kind of silly. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think I want Alden Ehrenreich to be in more things. This is not the thing I want him in. And O'Shea Jackson Jr., I also really like him. He's so good in Straight Outta Compton. This again, there's nothing here. I think the movie thinks it's cleverer than it is, but I think the best moments of it are when it remembers that it's a movie called Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, when the bear's in it, which isn't as much as I thought it would be.
I understand why.
Yeah.
It's a cheap movie, and it's a very expensive CGI model of a bear. So I totally get that. But yeah.
Also, connecting
sorry.
dots, they've both got drugs in them.
What?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's over 9,000. I think the funniest parts of this movie aren't the jokes, are simply just like seeing the Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
And people explaining the existence of the Cocaine Bear. This also has some of the worst child acting performances I've seen in a while. Like,
yeah.
I get it, they're kids, that's fine. They're in a movie called Cocaine Bear, that's also fine. Dreadful. But it's fine. Listen, I got the ticket paid for me.
Oh.
So I didn't have to pay the movie money, but it's a movie called Cocaine Bear. You're not really expecting, Citizen Kane, are you?
Citizen Bear.
Citizen Bear. If you're getting really hammered and going with some friends, which I did. I didn't get hammered, but I went to see it with some friends. It's great fun. The title drop is one of my favourites of the year so far.
The title drop?
The movie's just called Cocaine Bear. Like, there is nothing in this movie funnier than the fact that they spent like $30 million, an absurd amount of money, on a movie called Cocaine Bear. Incredible scenes.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So yeah, go and watch it, or wait for it to come on Netflix, and this will be one that I watch with friends and like take a shot every time someone mentions the word cocaine or something. That'll do from me. Joe, have you got anything more to say?
That I think that is it. Yeah.
That is it. Well, thank you so much to everyone for listening. Hamish will be back next week when we'll be talking about something different.
Ooh.
And like I said, we'll be coming back to this tournament in a couple of weeks' time, and doing the round of 32 and going forward from there. Joe,
Hello.
thank you so much for taking this journey with me through the dregs of the MCU.
That's all right.
Where could the people find you?
Ooh, okay. You can find me on Twitter at Cook11Joseph, where I just talk about random stuff. So if you want to join in on the conversation, just go on there. You can find me on YouTube at Rebel Whovian, where I upload lots of Doctor Who content, artwork breakdowns, and other stuff. And talking of artwork, you can find my artwork on Instagram at JoeCook_digital_artist, where I post, well, mainly Doctor Who artwork again. Yeah.
Fantastic. And
where can we find you, Xander?
Just at the official Filming in podcast. It's called the official Filming in Pod, but it's the podcast Instagram and Facebook page. All the details will be in the link tree in the episode's description. So go and check those out, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time for something just as fun, maybe something slightly scary.
Oh,
plug. Right, we'll see you guys next time. Have a great night. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Derek.
That's the Fresno.
Fresno.